That report from Johnny Diamond over in Cleveland. Mal Fletcher is a social commentator based in South Oxfordshire. He's just published a speech about the dangers of social disconnection. Hello, Mal.
Hello, David.
This is such an extraordinary case. The one thing that a few people have said to me over the last few days talking about this is how can it be that these chaps can be so isolated from the community that they're living in?
Yeah, it's a great question, isn't it? And I think listening to that report, it seems to me the situation not only raises questions about what makes men behave in such depraved ways, but it also does raise questions about society. And the thing I've been noting today is that the combination of urbanization and the increasing digitization of our world, our reliance on mobile internet, might eventually lead to a situation where tragedies like this go unnoticed more often because we're less well connected to our immediate environment.
Well, that's the inherent contradiction with all of this, isn't it? That on the one hand we are better connected than ever before, but on the other hand that helps us to hide in many ways.
Yes, it does, and it's unless we deal with it, it will potentially get worse because the global population of cities is set to pass 5 billion by 2030. Urbanization has many benefits, but it has, its downside in that it can encourage people because of stress to disconnect. At the same time, we've got this emerging digital city, the cybersphere, that seems to offer a very convenient replacement for the real world. And so, as you say, we've got communication technologies our parents wouldn't have dreamed of, and yet we may end up being far less aware of our surroundings.
What was extraordinary is these girls went missing so many years ago, and they were on the doorstep.
Yes, and it's reminiscent of other cases, isn't it? Like Elizabeth Fritzl in Austria some years ago.
Yes.
She was the first of a number that have emerged since then. And it does speak to this whole issue of urban isolation, of people feeling, first of all, isolated from those who are immediately around them, but also, as you mentioned earlier, being able to get away with things they wouldn't have got away with perhaps 10 or 15 years ago. And I don't think, it's inevitable that these pressures of, say, urbanization, digitization will necessarily lead to more disengagement. I think that's a human choice we have to make. But we do need to explore new ways of encouraging people to stay connected with their immediate surroundings.
And to presumably speak out if they're worried about something unusual that's taking place in their street or close by to where they live.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we all want the benefits of technology. We want the benefits of living in, today's exciting urban environments, but we don't want a world where we've allowed things like these pressures to make us socially blind. I think it's very important that we understand society only works if we're physically engaged in the space in which we live.
Well, thank you very much. Nice to talk to you, Mal.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Mal Fletcher, social commentator based here in South Oxfordshire. This is BBC Radio Oxford. It's 5:45.